I've done a basic raw process on this photo. I've brought back some color information into the sky, and then I've unified that color palette. But I just feel like this photo is still missing the feels. And unfortunately, I didn't really capture any beautiful flare in the camera. Let me show you a couple of great tools inside Luminar Neo that we can leverage to artificially recreate that beautiful sun flare coming over her shoulder. And the way I'm going to be using these tools is probably going to surprise you because it's not the usual conventional way they'd be used. The first tool I'm going to show you is Magic Light AI. And the first thing we need to do is actually bring up the intensity. Without doing that, we can't add any points of light into our photo. So we're going to bump that up. Let's put it all the way to 100 for now. And now we have a brush area that allows us just to add points of light to our photo. You may have seen this before, and you may have just skipped right past this tool because you thought, what use to me is this? It's just another naff editing gimmick. Well, if we know what we're doing with it, that's not actually the case. So let me just reset that version of Magic Light AI, and we're going to start again. I'll boost the intensity all the way to 100, and this time I'm just going to put a spot of light in the top left-hand corner because that's going to represent the position of our sun in the frame. I'm going to grab the size slider and boost that up, and as you can see, we get a soft feathering of the light coming from top left and entering into the scene. The next slider I want to look at is the glow slider, because as you can see, if I boost this up or bring it back down, we get a kind of soft flaring effect as if we have light entering into the lens up from the top left. When I'm adding in a light haze sort of look like this, I always make sure that I take away the number of beams so it doesn't look like rays of light. It just looks like a soft hazy light feathering in from the top left of the frame. And as with all of the editing tools in Luminar Neo, it is quite powerful when it's used to its full intensity. So usually what I'd recommend is just setting the tool up how you want and then just ease those sliders back so the introduction is just a little bit more nuanced and a little bit more subtle. So before and after, that is one approach to just add a little soft light feathering in. Now, I have a couple of issues with this method as to why it's not my favorite approach. One is it doesn't give us a whole heap of flexibility. And the second is the color is very sterile. It's just a white light, and that bleaching effect might not be what we're after. So for example, in this photo, I want a nice warm light being added. And that's where our next effect comes in. Let me show you that. Okay, so we're going to come to the landscape section here, and we're going to open up Sunrays. And this is maybe one of those other tools that you just skipped right on past because you thought, well, you know what? This looks completely fake, unbelievable. I don't like it. I'm not going to use it. However, with a bit of finessing, I'm sure we can get this to work to our benefit. Now, straight out of the box, you can see we're getting a lot more bang for our buck from this tool. We're not just getting a lighting glow, we're getting adjustments in contrast, we're getting a richer color introduced as well. And so the fact that there are so many settings hidden within this tool, that's a really good thing because that gives us ultimate flexibility. So let me show you how I would set this up. First of all, let's understand what the overall look slider is doing. If I set it to 100 and we look at the before and the after, literally all we're doing is adding light in. When we bring the overall look back down, say to 50%, which is the default, not only are we adding light in, but we're also making areas that are further away from the light source darker. So for me, the sweet spot sits somewhere around that sort of 75 mark before and after, but there's still a lot more we want to do. The sun rays length allows us to sort of push the light further into the scene and interact more with the subject and the foreground. The fact that we're bleaching out some of the things like the horse's ear up here, we're not going to worry about that just yet. We can fix all of that. For now, we just want to understand how far do we want to push the light into the scene. Let's set that somewhere around there for now. The next slider is this penetration slider, which just tells Luminar Neo how powerful you want the light to be. So the more powerful and higher this penetration slider is, the more forceful our fake sunlight is at passing through dark objects in the scene. So you can see if I push this all the way up, it starts to break through that foliage on the horizon there. I'm just going to double click it to reset it for now. The next thing I want to do is push the sun radius, the glow of the sun, and the sun glow amount all to 100. So before and after, because that's really going to enhance that flare effect that we have going on up here. Currently, if I move this around, you can still see all of the sun rays. That's not what we want, and that's what we can take care of with this next slider, which is the number of sun rays. So we can either have lots and lots of little beams there, or we can reduce this all the way down to 0. And I feel that gives us a much softer, more believable look. If you want to create a kind of godlight in a landscape photo with the sun bursting through all the clouds, then putting that sun rays number up higher is normally a good thing. But for the effect that we're going for here, just a sort of bleached in flare, setting the number of rays at 0 is a pretty good idea. Now, in our last example, we weren't able to actually have a colorized light. It was very white, very washed out, and that's where the sun rays filter has a real nice advantage, because if you look at this, I can actually colorize. I'm going to push this all the way up so it's too high, but you can see that we've now added a yellow light to the sun. Of course, that's too much. So what we want to do is just grab the slider and just tease this back and forth until we feel like we're adding a nice bit of warmth, but we're keeping it kind of believable. Okay, now we've got this set up pretty much how I want it. We can still see there's quite a bit of issues going on. So I really don't like what's going on with the horse's ear here. I feel like that looks pretty fake. And the yellowing effect we've got with the out of focus trees, also not great. So there's a couple of things we can do to improve that. You can see as I move the point closer to the horse's ear, we get more of that bleed and flaring effect, which is pretty cool. However, that's not what we're after. If we take it further away and we keep hold of our mouse, we can actually take it off the screen. So you can notice that I'm actually pushing the point off and to the left. And as I do that, the yellowy effect on the ear and the horizon just ease back ever so slightly. So now before and after, that's created a much more soft and subtle glow. Alternatively, if we wanted to leave it in frame, what we can then do is come to the penetration slider and start to ease that back. And as we do, you can see that we can control just how intense and oversaturated that effect is getting. And also the amount slider, taking that back, we can get rid of that bleaching effect. So somewhere around there looks pretty good to me. And as we look at the before and after, let me tell you this, you're going to really love this next effect for you, because it's going to let us take our lens flare sunlight effect to the next level. So if you're familiar with Luminar Neo's layers, you'll know that Luminar ships with its own flares, light leaks, those kind of effects. So for example, let me show you really quickly. If we click on this light leak effect here, we're effectively bringing in this looking layer, and Luminar brings it in by default in the screen blend mode, which gives us this beautiful sort of lens flare effect. So that's one approach you can use, but I want to show you a similar look that we can create ourselves and have more control over. And we are going to do that, believe it or not, with the Neon and Glow tool. If we come to the Glow tool and we just crank the amount slider up, you can see that we can create a glow effect on the inside of an object. We can also create a glow effect on the outside of an object. And at first glance, you'd think, well, this is completely unusable. Again, yet another gimmick that is no use to real life, real world photography. But let me show you something else we can do. Rather than using the Glow tool, which is very automated, the Neon tool allows us to actually draw something. So let me put a point down on her hand and click and drag up, and we're going to give her a fake lightsaber so we can demonstrate this tool. Okay, I'm going to push the amount to 100. Again, so much clearer to see tools and their effects when we have the amount to 100. We can always drop that back down afterwards. Only 4 sliders here, but this is still very powerful anyway. The first one we want to look at is the spread. You know, how powerful is the lightsaber? So the further we push the spread, the more of the colored light around the neon and glow effect we see. Once we've built that spread up, we can then add atmosphere to it. So it's as if the light is reflecting off of particles in the air. So that's a really cool and useful slider as well. Currently, you're probably thinking, what use is this going to be to me in this example? Stay with me. Now, the fact that we can control the color of this effect is really powerful to us. So we can either make her a good girl and have her fighting with the Jedis, or we could, of course, have her as a Sith Lord. Or more practically, what we could do is actually move it towards the color spectrum of that golden light that we introduced before. These sliders are currently way too high for what we would need, but again, it's so much easier to show the example when we push their strength all the way up. Vividness is the last slider, And that allows us to either bring in more whiteness or take the whiteness away. If we take all of the whiteness away, I actually don't really like this particular look. I feel it looks a little bit too fake. You know, if you actually look at lightsabers, for example, they actually have a white core, and then the color is actually what's projected around the light source. And so you do actually want to just leave in a little bit of whiteness into this effect. If you take it away completely, we lose the reference point to where that actual light source exists. All right, so now we understand how this tool works. I'm going to erase what we painted in. Okay, let me show you a couple of things we could do with this. I'm going to put another point up in the top left to represent our light source, i.e. the sun. Currently, we don't really see anything, and that is because we're illuminating what is already very bright. So it can't get brighter than white. But if we start pushing these sliders further and push the spread out, we're going to start to see a feathering of the light that we currently have set up. So you can see if I grab the hue and start moving this around, we're now influencing the color of the light that's coming from that top left. Look, before and after, before and after. If you want to keep it more localized, what you could do is combine the effect with our own mask. So we could create a radial mask coming out from that top left point up there and then spread this through the scene so that we know that it's just tapering off where we've actually defined the edge of the mask. So now if I jump out of that and we look at the before and after, you can see that it's giving it a really nice, soft, subtle and colorized glow. By the way, if you haven't got Luminar Neo yet and you think it'd be a good fit for your photo editing, I've got a discount link in the description below that you're welcome to, along with a coupon code as well. All right, let's carry on editing. I want to show you one more effect that we can do with this that is similar to that light flare I showed you before. Let's open up a new neon and glow tool, and I'm going to create a kind of lens flare effect going on down the left-hand side of the frame. So clicking once at the top, holding shift and then clicking again at the bottom allows me to create a perfectly straight line. I can then boost these sliders up so that we start to get a light bleed going on from that left-hand side. Now all we need to do is move this over to find a nice warm color that we like the look of. And now we can just reduce those effects so it's a little bit more subtle. Now, if you feel like it's a bit too linear, just top to bottom, and we want to just have more of the effect at the top than the bottom, we can actually use the pen in erase mode to take some of this effect away. If I click and hold down on the screen, you can see this blue line that represents where we've painted the neon effect. All I need to do now is click once at the bottom, so I'm deleting it, and you can see that that's gone from there. And now I'm going to come to the top, hold shift, and click on the right hand side of the line. And now if we look at the line, I've actually chipped away at it on a bit of an angle there. If we want to, we could do that again just to make it a little more precise. And we can also combine that with our own mask if we want. So we could just erase some of that effect from the bottom if we wanted to. And now let's toggle the before and after. We've got a nice subtle light bleed from the left-hand side of the frame. It now has a beautiful emotive quality about it. Before and after, before and after. Now that's really nice to introduce this lovely soulful feel of that light coming into the photo. However, this photo still has a big issue for me. Have you spotted it as well? Is it a bit bugging you? Her hand does not look good tucked in by the horse. So while it's a really nice tender moment that I've captured, if this lady wants to put this up proudly on her wall, I think that funny hand she's got going on is going to annoy her for many years to come. So in this video right here, I'll show you how we can take care of that and some other unwanted anomalies in the frame as well. I'll see you in that one. Bye bye for now.